All right, guys, we are here for our weekly meeting. So, for those of you who are wondering or interested in talking about the Corvette in general, not just the Z06, this is where you want to be. We're going to do this every single Monday. So, Monday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you can come right here to the Horsepower Obsessed YouTube channel and talk about Corvettes. That's what we're here for. So, for the most part, what this is going to be is kind of a weekly news wrap-up. So any news we have on the C8 Corvette Z06, E-Ray, ZR1, possibly Zora, any of that news will be displayed and talked about right here. And, of course, we can talk about your Corvettes. If you guys have a base C8, a C7, C6, whatever it is you may have questions about or just want to talk about, this is the place to do it. So, like I said, weekly, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Tune in right here on Horsepower Obsessed. Let's have a chat about it. So, as of now, I know I've been doing kind of a weekly thing. It's been kind of sporadic. It hasn't been a specific time or day. It is now going to be Mondays at 7:30 p.m. But the little bit that we have done, talking about mostly the C8 Z06 information, has really gotten me thinking about doing this on a more consistent basis because of how many of you guys are tuning in every single week. So, it's really something to create a community, something to make sure that any of your questions are answered, whatever you may have, whatever kind of news you may have that I haven't heard of, we're all here to share information about the Corvette at the end of the day. So, like I said, this is it. Corvettes Weekly right here on the Horsepower Obsessed YouTube channel. So, real quick, I'm going to look over to the comments section here and see what you guys have for me. So, Troy Hummel, how are you doing? Thanks for tuning in. Sportify's here. LT4 powered, you made it. All right, so you're on a lot of my videos. I obviously I've met you in person, but this is the first live video I think I've seen you on in a while. Richard says I try every week to hear the news from the man Justin. I appreciate that, Richard. We're going to do it every week, so every single Monday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time, you can tune in right here and catch up on any of the news you may have missed throughout the week. Ahmed's here. All right, guys. We got a lot of the same names popping up again, and like I said, that's fantastic because that tells me the attempt to build a community is working. Ralph Cruz. How you doing, buddy? Steve-O says, question, I have a 2022 C8 Corvette I just got. How do I lock the car without using the key fob button? Is there a place on the door to touch to lock on the outside? Why is my camera not focusing? That's a good question. Let me take a look. I don't know why this is not focusing. There we go. It's fixed. Let's see. That is a good question, Steve-O. Why don't you shoot me an email? I gotta look at that. I can't recall off the top of my head if there was a way to do that or not. Shoot me an email. I'll put it in the chat here so you can see it and just click on it. Yeah, so Josh says the passive door lock. I know what that will do. That will kind of just automatically lock it as you walk away from the car. He wants to actually be able to press a button to do it. I'm not sure. My webcam keeps not focusing. Okay. All right, so are you going to the Michelin Bash? So, Mark, I actually just ran into something today that is going to prevent me from going. So I will not be there, unfortunately. When are they going to reveal the Nürburgring lap time, top speed, and price? So, ready on 3. That Nürburgring time has to be coming very soon. So, if I had to guess, within the next 2-3 weeks at the most, we're going to hear that, along with probably pricing around the same time. We're going to talk a little bit about the production dates and what to expect there here very shortly. But stay tuned for that. Yeah, William, you can do that. So, one way to lock the door without using the key would be to actually reach in, press lock on the door, and then shut the door. That's going to give you kind of a timed lock situation. It's still not exactly what you wanted, but I don't recall there being a button there for that. Even though there is on most cars that have that key fob like that, I don't think there is on the C8. Ahmed wants to know, how can I protect the front lip? So, Ahmed, are you talking about from rock chips and scratches, or are you talking specifically the under portion from scraping it on things? What's up, Guzman? LT4 powered. Are you in Florida or PA? Don't have to answer that for security purposes. LT4, I am in PA right now. I will be heading back down to Florida the day after Easter. So if any of you guys are in the Florida area, you want to come by and say hi, I'll be there on the 19th, most likely. Did you see the new C8 Z06 configurator update? I did, Sportify. So that's one of the things we're going to talk about today because there are some new options in that visualizer online. Still no pricing, but the options are on there at least. William says, I wonder if you can do it from inside. Shut the door. Okay, we already did that. Tom Banks, is Chevy going to make C8 ZR1 with twin turbo? So Tom, there hasn't been any official talk on this ZR1 or Zora for probably close to a year at this point. I'm starting to believe we're not going to get a ZR1. I think we're going to get only a Zora. So it's going to go from the Z06 to the E-Ray, which we're going to talk about an update on here in a second, and then straight to the Zora. I think that's going to be the way Chevy's going to do it because they're pushing hard for the fully electric cars, and I think the Zora is going to be fully electric. Richard says, C7 only had passive lock over time, not touch lock. Never heard in C8 improving on it. Yeah. So, again, usually keyless entry cars like that have a button you can press. The C7, you're right, doesn't, and the C8 probably doesn't either. It's kind of weird. Ready on 3 says, due to the delay of the Z06 production, is the ZR1 going to be 2025 or 26? I would push for probably later, so probably the 26th. Should we put over the XPEL? No. So, William, did you get a ceramic coating on top of your XPEL, or is it just XPEL? Blue Vet says, the Sunshine State is waiting for you. Yes, it certainly is. Today was actually okay here in Pennsylvania, but up until today, it's been like 30 degrees. It's not been great. Luke Walsh says, hi, HPO gang. What's up, everybody? While we're on that topic, if you guys could, please go ahead and smash that thumbs up button. Let me know you're liking the content. It really helps the algorithm here on YouTube. I would appreciate every one of you hitting that button if you could. Steve-O says, thank you for the answers. I prefer the key fob in my pocket and have to take it out to lock it back in the pocket. Yeah, unfortunately, it will unlock when you're near it without taking it out of your pocket just by pressing the button under the door. But to get it to lock, I think your only option would be to hit the lock button inside and then close the door. How much will the C8 Z06 weigh? So that was kind of confirmed by Harlan at GM. It's going to weigh right around the same amount that the base C8 weighs. It was right around 3,600 pounds. They did state that was the dry weight, which is kind of scary because the dry weight means that there's no gas, no windshield washer fluid, no oil. Basically, the car is completely dry, no fluids at all. And if that's the case, you can count on another 200 or so pounds on top of that. So hopefully that was misspoken, and that's not the case. But we'll find out for sure soon enough. LT4 Powered says, and rain every day. Yes, even today it was weather or temperature-wise it was nice, but man, it freaking rained every single day. Luke Walsh, hope you take your future C8 Z06 to California when you get a chance. Man, I would love to. I would really love to. Mike Matarazzo's on the chat, guys. He says he's in Hershey and it's 70 degrees with no wind. Wow. Is it raining there, Mike? Motor City, what's up, bro? How's it going, man? Bull Run. All right, man. I just saw your car today. It's looking freaking awesome. I don't know if Aaron sent you any pictures, but your C8R is looking amazing. Hulk Smash, thumbs up button. I appreciate it, man. Mike Monterazzo, Justin, what's this about no Z in 23? I have not heard that, but I have an update on the production date for the Z06, which still pushes hard into it being a 23. All right, William Murchison says he just has XPEL so far. So on top of XPEL, the best thing I would recommend is to get XPEL Fusion, which is their ceramic coating, which is designed specifically to sit on top of the XPEL paint protection film. There's a lot of different ceramic coatings you can get. None of them are actually designed specifically for sitting on top of XPEL, except for XPEL's own Fusion. If you don't want to get a ceramic coating, you might want to consider the XPEL Ceramic Boost, which, if you want to shoot me an email after the chat here, I can send you a direct link to it. It is basically something that kind of helps refresh the ceramic coating, but even if you don't have one, it will leave behind some ceramic properties. Mike Matarazzo says no rain in Hershey. Okay, well, if you're in PA, apparently Hershey is the place to be because that is far nicer than what we have here in Irwin. Yeah, Mike, as far as I know, the C8 Z06 is still coming in 2023. It's going to be slightly later than what we had discussed earlier, but we're going to talk about that here in a second. All right, let's see what we got here. Question, C8's front two side radiators, are they to cool the engine or some other parts? So, Josh, on the side of the car, the side intakes, the driver's side is actually a coolant intake or coolant cooler. And on the right side is for the transmission. If you're talking about up front, both of them are for cooling the engine. Ready on 3 says, is the pinnacle model of the C8 generation going to be full electric? I do believe so. So, again, guys, Ready on 3 says, is the pinnacle model of the C8 generation going to be fully electric? I think that the C8 Corvette Zora, which is likely to be the top of the line, is going to be fully electric. Bull Run said he did get pictures. It does look good. William Richardson says, here's a question. How does ceramic coating help the self-healing effects of the XPEL? William, the ceramic coating doesn't help the self-healing at all. So ceramic coating is there for making the car look prettier. That gives it a really, really huge depth of shine, gloss. It makes it easier to wash, and it helps keep bird droppings and bug etchings off of the XPEL itself. So as far as healing is concerned, it's not going to help in that situation at all. Michael Matarazzo says, thank goodness, the Z06 is still going to be a 2023. Josh says, top 3 brands for window tint for ceramic. Well, I'll tell you what, I'm not going to give you the top 3. I'm going to give you the top 1 because there is only one that is the best in my opinion, and that is the XPEL XR Plus. So what that's going to be is the top of the line ceramic window tint that will block as much of the UV rays as possible, and it will help protect the interior and keep it cooler. It's the same exact window tint I have on my ZR1, I had on my C8, I have on my wife's car, and just recently installed on the TRX. Richard says, XPEL, vinyl wrap, or both? So the easiest way to answer that question is, do you want to change the color of your car? If you do, then both. If you don't want to change the color of your car, then just XPEL. Vinyl by itself doesn't offer any protection to your paint. So if you want to vinyl wrap your car thinking, oh, I'll protect the stock paint underneath, it's not going to work like that. The rock chips go right through and they will still hit the paint. So if you want to vinyl wrap and change the color of your car, you would then XPEL over top of it to protect the paint underneath, as well as the vinyl wrap that you just paid a lot of money for. 2022 C8 3000 status, what's my wait time? I can give you my experience. Unfortunately, everything nowadays seems to be slowed down quite a bit, so when my car hit 3000 status, I don't even think it was 3 weeks later I had it in my hand. So right after 3100 status, I think it was a week after 3100 status I had it. Hi, did you say the Zora will be all electric? Matt, this is just my opinion. There is no fact to back this up yet, but I do believe the Zora is going to be fully electric. If you look at Chevy's recent push towards fully electric vehicles, you'll understand why I'm saying that. Odds are very good they're not going to mess around with twin turbos or anything anymore. Odds are very good we're moving towards a full electric Corvette. LT4 Powered says, just glad I bought a Caddy so I can drive it and don't have to worry about it melting like you Corvette people. All right, so it depends on who you're referring to when you say Corvette people, because I drive my Corvette in the rain a lot. It's actually sitting in the garage right now, and it's dirty from the last time I drove it, and I got caught in the rain. Donovan says, heard about there not being a Z06 in 2024, only 2023 with new emission laws. Donovan, I don't know that I would necessarily refute that. I think right now there is a heavy push towards fully electric cars to avoid EPA problems and rising gas prices. So it would not surprise me. Now, with that said, if you're on a list to get a 2023 Z06, it now just became that much more profitable, I guess. Guys, one more time while we're talking, if you want to smash that thumbs up button, really helps out the channel. I'd really appreciate it. Just click that thumbs up. It's free. Smag USMC says, new to the channel. Love what I've heard so far. Awesome, man. I appreciate it. I'm going to be doing these, guys, every week at Monday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's going to be called Corvette Weekly. So you guys come in here, get to wrap up for the news for the week, as well as talk about anything that you might want to discuss, C8 or just Corvette in general related. Michael Matarazzo says, it will be like a LaFerrari Tesla plaid. Lots of things there, yeah. Ahmed says, love this channel, new here. Thank you, Ahmed. I appreciate it. Cool, thanks. So based on your opinion, there is no LT7 twin-turbo system for the ZR1 or Zora, like you mentioned on your previous videos. I don't want to say that this is fact, guys. So I don't typically dabble in rumors that don't have some sort of substance. This is just my opinion. Based on what I've heard from Chevy, their latest push towards fully electric vehicles, it seems unlikely that the C8 Corvette Zora is not going to be fully electric. It's very likely, if we get a ZR1, I could see the ZR1 being the last V8 twin turbo, but I don't even think we're going to get a ZR1. I think it's going to go straight from the E-Ray to the Zora, which is very likely to be fully electric. Now, guys, like I said, don't take this wrong and don't run with this like this is 100% fact, because it's not. This is only my opinion. Whenever this becomes fact, you will be the first ones to know. Sportify says, after the Z06 configurator update, it was certainly impossible to get gray brake calipers. It only allows you to select either yellow, orange, edge red, or bright red. What's your take? I didn't notice that. That's a good catch, Sportify. We'll take a look at that in a second. Richard says, thanks, Justin. Michael Matarazzo says, good question and very understandable answer. Thanks, Mike. Luke says, think Zora or some other future variant will use supercar or super capacitors like the Lamborghini Cayenne. I mean, we're moving towards fully electric vehicles as being the new normal thing, so I would imagine eventually they're all going to be using something like that. Super capacitors don't hold a charge very well, but they charge/discharge incredibly fast to regenerate braking power coming out of turns. With the Zora, since it's most likely going to be track focused, it's probably going to use whichever technology is going to be best for the track, whether that's good for miles per gallon or longevity or whatever it may be. They're going to go more track focused, and that probably means less miles per full charge. So yes, that's a long way of me saying, yeah, I do think supercapacitors are going to be it. William Richardson says, XPEL XR Plus, we did 35%. Very nice. The XR Plus really helps block a lot of heat and helps keep your interior looking as good as possible for as long as possible. What about the Camaro? Any news about the 7th gen? No. Surprisingly quiet on that front. I was actually just talking to somebody up at Blackout Tinting about that today, because the Camaro is a really cool car. I used to actually have a Camaro before getting my Z06, and I hope that Chevy has something cool coming for that. LT4 Powered says, haha, the XPEL PPF prevents the melt, I hear. Well, my C7 Z06 didn't have XPEL on it, and it didn't melt either. Felix says, did you know if there's going to be new colors for the calipers on 2023? I have not heard anything about that yet. We're going to check into that in a second. William Richardson says, I believe the higher the number, the clearer it is. My car has not been registered yet in California, so I'm trying to be safe. Yeah, you're right, Richard. So 35% would be clearer than 20%. 20% is then darker, and then I typically go with 5% on my cars. Kerry Glock says, someone said the leather on a 2015 3LT dashboard was getting wavy and coming up due to sun and heat. What tint or treatment could prevent that? Would it be the same for the 2LT? So, Kerry, that was a problem with the early Stingray, C7 Stingrays, the 3LTs specifically. I don't recall hearing anything about the 2LT, but what was happening was the sun was actually shrinking the leather, and it was because of the UV rays. It was causing the leather to actually start pulling back, and at that point, it was a warranty claim, which had to actually replace the entire dashboard. You could prevent that by putting window tint on the front windshield. Now, I know a lot of you are going to be like, no, I can't do window tint on the front windshield. And that's true. Most states that's illegal. But you can get 70%, which is basically clear. And that's still going to block the UV rays to prevent the sun from damaging your leather interior. Look into this. This is something you definitely want to consider, especially since you're this close to blackout tinting. If you talk to them about their XR Plus 70, they'll be able to hook you up and make sure that that does not happen to your dashboard, or damage in general doesn't happen. Donovan says, if it's true, I'm going to sell mine and get a Lamborghini STO. Boy, I'll tell you, Donovan, I'm not that far from that. The STO is really cool, and I'm not ready for an electric vehicle just yet. Great White North Corvette. What's up, man? Thanks for tuning in. All right, guys. So the first super chat of the day comes to us from my wife. Like I said 100 times, guys, the super chats go right back into the channel. So anything you guys want to donate, feel free. It will go back into the channel and help build this to another level. She says, cheers to Corvette Weekly. Thank you for sharing all your knowledge with the HPO community. Love, your wife who wants hypersonic gray on the Z06. Yeah. All right, guys. So we've talked about this a couple times. I actually just talked to a friend of mine up at Blackout Tinting the other day, and he said he was getting a hypersonic gray Z06. And I said, no, you can't do that. And he's like, why? You said you were getting black. And I said, no. I said, I'm thinking about getting black. So we may end up with 2 hypersonic gray Z06s in the immediate area here, which would be kind of cool. But we'll see. All right, so Josh says, how many days should C8 battery last until you can't start the car? 28 days-ish? It really depends. It depends on the environment you're in. Is it cold? Is it super hot? I think 28 days might be a little bit generous. I would probably say 2 weeks max. Ahmad, any clue on when a supercharged C8 would be coming out? Clearly aware the Z06 isn't even out. I don't think we're ever going to get a supercharged C8. Not from factory, at least. So if the next car out, well, the next one out is definitely going to be the E-Ray, which we're going to talk about in a second. But that's going to be the typical 6.2 liter engine with a hybrid assist front motor. That will be battery powered, but obviously you'll still have the 6.2 liter engine in the rear. So the next car after that is very likely to be either the ZR1 or the Zora, and neither one of those two, if we get both of them, neither one of them would be supercharged. The ZR1 would likely be twin turbocharged, and then the Zora is probably going to be fully electric. VT16 Turbo says, was at Barrett Jackson auction in West Palm Beach. They had an orange and red Miss Z06s on site. Took a hot half lap in the C8 Stingray, and it was off the chains. Still look forward to getting a C8. Yeah, dude, the C8 Corvette is awesome. You don't need a Z06 to have some fun in a C8. Trust me. Michael Matarazzo says, a Tesla Model Plaid will beat up on a Z06, and hence the Zora, a LaFerrari for a quarter of the price. 100%, guys. I've been in the Tesla S Plaid, and guys, that car is insane. I mean, if you haven't experienced it, you definitely should. It's definitely a game changer, and it tells me that the future of battery-operated vehicles is not necessarily bad for speed. I still kind of like the way V8s sound and that sort of thing, so I'm going to hold off as long as I can. But at the end of the day, we're probably all going to be in electric vehicles in 10 years, so it is what it is. Great White North Corvette says, I can go 3 months without starting my car and the battery is fine. There you go. So I believe he's actually in Canada. I don't think it gets much colder than that. So 3 months, that's pretty good. Josh says, how much is XR Plus for 2 side windows and 1 rear window? Josh, shoot me an email. It's going to be horse.power.obsessed@gmail.com. I will get you an answer. If you're talking about 4 on your C8, we could even end up doing it for you if you're in Pennsylvania or Florida. Mark says, I cannot see Chevrolet producing a Z06 model for only 1 year. I don't really either, but you never know. Ready on 3, why GM went with carbon fiber wheels for the Z07 package. Ford did that with the GT350R and people who took their cars to the track, and the wheels twist and damage the tires. So the only difference here, Ready on 3, is that GM actually has a company called Carbon Revolution. building the wheels for them. They're very, very well versed in making sure that wheels don't do those kind of things. So I don't think we're going to have any problems with the wheels on the car. Shane, what's up, man? I appreciate you tuning in. I'm seeing all the same names again, guys. I was waiting for Shane to pop up. He said he just arrived. He missed everything. Haha. We're gonna go over everything here in a second. I'll have to catch up on the YouTube upload after. I appreciate it. What's up, Justin? How you doing, man? Hearing the Zora and future Corvettes possibly being all full electric is disappointing and depressing, man. It's boring. I agree, Matt. Now, again, Matt, I want to reiterate what I was saying. That is not fact yet. So I don't want to make it sound like it is. This is just strictly my opinion at this point. I do full-heartedly believe it, and I at this point I'd probably put money on it, but it does not mean that it's 100%. Timothy says no window tint on the windshield in Indiana. You're probably right. Most states say no window tint, but you can get away with the XR plus 70% because it's basically clear, so it's not giving you any tint to the windshield. It would only be obvious if someone were to stick their head in there and scratch at your windshield. Josh says, do you guys tint the top section of the windshield? If you're talking about a brow at the top, yes, we can do that. Awesome life, 100%. Yeah. Evan Sent says he came here for the Z06 production start, and we're talking about tint. We're going to get there in 1 second, I promise. I just wanted to kind of catch up with some of the comments here. LT4 says, don't lie, you can't quit black, and you know it. Yeah, you're probably right. All right, guys, Richard is number 2 for the super chat for the day. So he says, happy wife, happy life. Go, or get the gray, go Justin. Richard, you're my wife's favorite person right now. Thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it, guys. Like I said, the super chat funnels right back into the channel here, so we will make sure that future growth is confirmed. Tesla just joined late. Hail, Justin. Am I hearing this right? Latest news. No. So, oh man, I really shouldn't even have mentioned this. Guys, this is not fact yet. The C8 Corvette Zora nothing's been confirmed on it yet, but my take is that it's probably going to be full electric. There is likely to not be any internal combustion engine in that car. That's my take. This is not fact. Nothing's been put out about this. Just my opinion at this point. But I would put money on it at this point. So that means I believe it. But it's not fact yet. All right, so we're going to skip through some of the comments here, guys. I want to get to some of the information before I read the rest of the comments. So let's flip around and take a look at what we got for you guys today. So right off the bat, we have the 2023 Stingray Visualizer, and it is up on the internet. It's ready to go. And the only reason I want to mention this to you guys is because one of the features that we talked about in a previous live video that was only a rumor at the time was this new X-Brace. And you can actually see it right in this video, or this little picture here on the website. It is real. So on the 2023, you can in fact get this new X-Brace, which is basically going to really just add some coolness look to it. I really don't see that actually adding any kind of stiffness to the suspension or anything, but it is there and it is pretty cool looking. Now, another thing for the 2023 guys, if you're just wanting a regular C8 base C8 Corvette, the Stingray R package is back. Now, a lot of people were speculating that this was a 2022 model year thing only, but sure enough, it's back for the 2023. So as you can see in this picture here, you get the Stinger on the front, as well as Stingray R on the side. Now, if it's like the 2022, you will also get that written somewhere on this, either the side skirts or on the front lip. This is strictly a sticker package, so don't expect any kind of additional performance or anything, but it is still pretty cool that it is going to be an option for the 2023 Corvettes as well. Now, moving along with the visualizer, we also got an upgrade to the Z06 C8 Corvette visualizer. Now, this is online, guys. I will put the link in the description down below, but it basically takes you and allows you to build your own C8 Corvette Z06. It does not give you the prices yet. So there are no prices available for this car just yet. They are coming soon, though. They have to be. Now, with all that said, you do get a couple new options that the visualizer has been updated to show. One of them is kind of I would call like a hash mark for the rear end. This, again, is coming to us from our friends over at the midenginecorvetteforum.com. You can see the picture right here. Right above the rear wheels, we have kind of a hash mark looking thing with the C8 Jake logo inside of it. It's kind of neat. It's kind of neat, but I don't know how needed it is. In the front end, we have the Stinger stripe, again with the C8 Jake logo. That's also available for the Z06 at this point. This is actually a really neat looking spec. I love the hypersonic gray with the red interior. I think if I were to get hypersonic gray, that is exactly how I would get it. I would have red calipers on it, though, not in this case, not the yellow. Really love the front lip on this Z06 here, but basically what we're looking at, like I said, is just those new graphics for the Z06. So we got the Stinger stripe in the front and then the hash marks on the rear fenders. So if you guys are interested in that, I will put the link in the description below once this video goes live. And you can go over there and kind of play on the visualizer and see what it is you might like. So I'm going to real quick go back to the comments here, see where we're at. Okay. All right, so the third super chat of the day, guys, comes from Bill Detcher. He says, go Z06. 100%, man. I appreciate you supporting the channel. That's awesome. Thank you so much. Guys, like I said, the super chat goes right back into this channel, and it helps future channel growth. If you guys are liking what you're seeing so far, please go ahead and smash that thumbs up button. It helps break the YouTube algorithm and get this out to as many other Corvette enthusiasts as possible. This is something we're going to do every Monday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. It's going to be called Corvette Weekly. We're literally just going to discuss the weekly happenings in the Corvette world. So be sure to tune in every Monday at 7:30 p.m. And if you guys hit that like button enough, we can build this community into something huge where we are just all Corvette fans talking about how much we love Corvettes. What gets better than that? All right. Wheeler O'Hara, sorry being a comment hog here, but Justin, what do you think of the completely blacked out checkered flag logo versus blacking out the yellow you do? I'll be honest, Wheeler, I actually looked into that for a hot second with my ZR1 because my ZR1 is all black. I don't know if I want to go totally black with that logo, because if you do, suddenly it basically disappears. And I don't want it to disappear. I want people to know what it is. But at the same time, I want to keep it on there my way. So I like getting rid of the little bit of gold that the bow tie has, but I don't want it to totally disappear. All right, so number 6 for the super chat for today, guys, is Grayson Cook. He says, Viper over Corvette. Oh, boy. Them sound like fighting words. No, seriously, though, guys, the Viper is pretty cool. The most recent gen Viper, I'm kind of sad to see it go. But at the same time, I don't know that I would take it over the Corvette. Maybe side by side I would, but... Talk about the carbon fiber engine brace on the C8 Z06. I haven't seen a carbon fiber engine brace on the Z06. If you blacked out the checkered flag, is it really checkered anymore? Good point, John. I think if you black out the entire thing, I think it becomes, it kind of fades into the background, and I don't know that I want to do that. Wheeler O'Hara, valid point, looks smashing on painted black carbon. Yeah, I would agree. Viper isn't in the same league. ACR would be so sick, 100%. Man, the Viper ACR was really a really cool car. I like the new dark cross flags emblem. They stopped making Vipers, right? Yeah, so I believe it was a couple years ago now they stopped production, but the Viper ACR is still pretty cool. All right, guys, so we're going to head back to the news here for a second. So, like I said, the Z06 visualizer is upgraded and it has a couple new options. This news comes to us from the midenginecorvetteforum.com. Head over there if you want to learn more, but I will put the link to the visualizer in the description of this video once it's live. Moving on, though, guys, we get to talk about Rick Hendrick again. So you guys know he bought the very first C8 Corvette Coupe at Barrett-Jackson for $3.6 million. It's a lot of money for a car, but he now just bought the first retail Z06 convertible for $1 million. Now, this Barrett-Jackson actually played out in Florida, so not too far from where my new shop is at. My business partner, Josh, was actually there, and he got to see some of the happenings of all this going down. But Rick Hendrick obviously loves his Corvettes, and he has now spent almost $5 million just on 2 Z06s, let alone what he spent on the original C8. So he's got a lot of money wrapped up in C8 Corvettes. But either way, if you guys haven't seen this yet, this is over at the CorvetteBlogger.com. You can see Rick Hendrick right there. He obviously spent $1 million on the first production C8 Corvette convertible. Let's take a look at the comments here, guys. Where we at? Christopher says he just tuned in. Not sure if you noticed, but the low wing is available now in exposed carbon fiber. I did see that. Don't recall this being an option before in the visualizer. It probably wasn't. I only just recently saw that because there was a car that was being shown off by, I think it was Taj, I saw a video of, that the top of it was silver, like the car, and then the bottom part of it was carbon fiber. I believe the carbon fiber cross brace is not available if you get the carbon fiber engine cover on the Z06s. So I did not notice that is, from what I can tell, is only an option on the base C8. I'm going to have to dig around in that visualizer a little bit more. Are you guys saying that that X brace is available on the Z06 as well? Rick must be rich AF. Yeah, Donovan, he definitely is. Hitman says, I thought they weren't going to make the Z06. Oh, guys, come on. That was an April Fool's Day joke, and some YouTubers took it a little too far. The Z06 is still definitely coming. Why so much money? Is it a publicity stunt to sell the vets? No. So, Josh, usually whenever these cars sell for that much money, the majority of it goes to a charity. I know when he spent $3.6 million on the first C8 Z06, it went to benefit the veterans. Hey, Justin, do you know around how much the C8 ZR1 will cost when it will be released? So, Matt, right now I think the Z06 is going to start right around $90,000. If that ends up being true, then the ZR1 will likely start at around 120 to 130, just like the difference in the current Z06 versus the current ZR1, C7 generation, I should say. The price difference there was about 30 grand as well. So where was the Bear Jackson for that auction? It was in Florida. I believe it was Palm Beach. See if it says here. No, it doesn't, but I believe it was Palm Beach. It was not the Scottsdale, Arizona Barrett Jackson. Yeah, April Fool's Days, clickbait to the extreme. That's definitely right, Wheeler. When will the first people on the list be able to place orders for the 2023 Z06s? So, guys, that was one thing I wanted to talk about real quick. The production of the C8 Corvette Z06 and when it's going to happen. I've actually had this confirmed by 2 different people that are pretty high up at GM, and it is going to be August. August is when production will start. I didn't get a day in August, so it could be the 1st, it could be the 31st. Either way, August is when the Z06 is going to start being built, with early cars being delivered as early as mid-September. So if the car starts in August, we could see them as early as September. This is a little bit later than what we had originally been told. Now, originally I was expecting this car to start production in June and see the early ones being delivered around mid-July. Now it looks like it's going to be a little bit later. And if you guys, obviously, anybody who has opened their eyes outside recently, you can realize that there's production shortages everywhere. So it doesn't matter if you're building a car or if you're trying to put together a rug. You're going to have production problems because everybody is having issues getting materials. GM is not immune to that rule, so to speak. So they're having the same kind of issues only on a much bigger scale. So the Z06 production is set to start in August of 2022. Like I said, that means the cars could be delivered in September of 2022, still making them a 2023 model. So guys, like I said, if you're liking the content, please go ahead and smash that thumbs up button. Let me know you're liking it so we can keep doing this kind of stuff. I want to make this a weekly episode. So every week, Monday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you can tune in here, get updated on the news, as well as talk about whatever Corvette information you would like to talk about. Okay, let's go back to the comments for a section. Larry Williams says, hey, Justin, what's your opinion of the C6 Z06? Larry, I love the C6 Z06. I may just have one on this channel soon, and stay tuned for that. But the Z06, the C6 Z06 is literally like the Z06 for me right now, at least, until the C8 comes out. But either way, it's a cool car. Love it. Are you thinking about getting one? Wheeler O'Hara says, so if August for production, do you think price and visualizer are not till late June, July? No, I think we'll get it a little bit before then. If I had to guess, end of May. Maybe even earlier in May. You can't sell a car with no reviews. Yep. They did with the C8 for the most part, but there will be reviews coming before August. Josh says, before Rick Hendrick promised Z06 for MSRP, later they changed it to $13K over MSRP. Wow, I didn't know that. Mark says, carbon fiber brace is available on the Z06. It's on the visualizer. Okay, I'll have to dig into that visualizer a little bit more. That's interesting. I did not see that. David says, thanks, Justin. You're welcome. August might be able to sneak a couple fall track days in September at VIR. There you go. I'd love to take a car to the VIR. That's such an awesome small track that you can just like freaking hammer. Future Sean, hey, what's up, man? That's another name. So, guys, I'm seeing all kinds of the same names popping up again. Like I said, I love the community we're building here. If you guys like it as much as I do, please smash that thumbs up button so we can make it bigger. He says, what's going on, Justin? I really think they are stockpiling for a good launch. I don't think they want to run into any issues when they first launch. I agree. I do believe GM is withholding some parts from the base C8 to make sure that they have enough available for the Z06. Donovan says, August 22nd, GM will try to make 300 Z06s a week. Donovan, where did you hear August 22nd from? The best I could get from my people was just an August date, then no specific day. Josh says, should I do launch controls after 500 miles break-in or 1,500? So 500 is the amount of miles that the manual says. 1,500 is what you should put on the car before taking it to the track. I was doing launch control stuff right at 500 miles. So, yeah. Other than breaking an axle on my C8, it was pretty much bulletproof otherwise. So, BJ says Z06 brace is an option, but you can't have the nice Z06 cover. Yeah, that sounds like a reason to skip it for this time. Grandpa Barney with the number 5 super chat of the day. Sorry I'm late. Power outages. Oh, that sucks. Happy day. Getting closer. I appreciate the support, Grandpa Barney. Like I said, guys, super chat will go right back into the channel here. I appreciate any of the donations. You guys are awesome. Flacca HD says, do you think the C8 Z06 will be delayed for people to actually get their cars until next year? No. So I do believe the Z06 will be, the early cars will be shipping around September 15th-ish, if I had to guess. C7 Grand Sport with a tune as a track weapon, 100%, guys. The C7 Corvette cannot be discounted. That car is amazing. There's a reason why I kept my ZR1 and sold my C8. And in my opinion, the C7 ZR1 is one of the best Corvettes ever built. The Z06 might change my mind on that, but that's to be determined. Kevin says, both Rick Conti and my local dealer have confirmed a memo from GM stating that right now preliminary 23 Z06 ordering within GM Workbench will begin late spring here, late May or early June. Yep, that's pretty much what I expected. That's just the ordering process, though. That doesn't determine when that car is actually going to be built, which is going to be in August at some point. LT4 Powered says, always wanted to drive a C6 Z06. You might get that chance. I'm looking actively for a C6 Z06, and if I find one, I will have one on the channel here soon enough. Grayson Cook says he's our number 6 super chat donor of the day here, guys. Like I said, I hate to keep beating a dead horse, but the super chat goes right back into the YouTube channel, so I appreciate anything you guys want to give. He says, are they ever going to make another manual Corvette? I highly doubt it. That's another reason why I kept my ZR1 was because it is a manual and it is the last of a very much so dying breed. William A. Yeah, can't get high rear spoiler without getting the carbon brakes. Yeah, unfortunately. So basically, I wouldn't say that that's unfortunately, but the carbon ceramic rotors come on the Z07 packaged car, and the Z07 is the only way you can get that high wing spoiler right now. JJ says, are there any stats for the Z07 from an owner yet? No. Nobody owns that car just yet, except for the engineers. Josh, okay, I will wait until 500 miles, then launch control time. There you go, man. At that point, I'll tell you what, you're going to love that freaking car. Wheeler O'Haro, congrats, Larry. That 7-liter naturally aspirated engine is quite a beast. Yes, it is. LT4 Powered says, you review my car and I review the C6 for myself, LOL. Absolutely, man. I would love to do that. All right, guys, so let's go two more pieces of information. Actually, it's only one more, but there's two sources for it. It is actually talking about the E-Ray. I had a question pop up earlier. They wanted to know if I had any information on the E-Ray, and we have Motor Authority and the Motor1.com website to talk about. So basically, I don't know how much of this is legit, because I remember when these pictures were released, I purposely did not make a video on it because I think they're wrong. They're talking about right here, the car on the left being the Z06 and the car on the right being the new E-Ray. I think they're wrong about this. I don't think that that's the E-Ray, at least not the body of the E-Ray. If inside of it is the internals of the E-Ray, they're just trying to test it. That is possible. But the body of that car suggests that it is an early Z06. So for those of you who don't know, the Z06 originally had the exhaust exiting out of the right and left side of the rear bumper. They later tuned that exhaust to exit out of the center for a better sound. But there were a lot of Z06 mule cars driving around that had the side exit exhausts on the rear, even though it still had that 5.5 liter flat plane crank in it. So I think this is a Z06, but it could possibly be the E-Ray in a Z06 body just testing out the powertrain, because a lot of people that were there taking these pictures flat out said that the car with the side exit rear exhausts, you couldn't hear it. So basically implying it was electric. Now, the E-Ray is not likely to be fully electric. It's very likely to still have that 6.2 liter engine from the base C8 along with a hybrid motor on the front wheels to make it an all-wheel drive hybrid setup. With that said, you could potentially coast for a couple miles on only hybrid power on those front wheels. So if they were not hearing any exhaust on that car, it is possible this is the E-Ray. Now, this is the car, guys. This is the one that's going to be coming next after the Z06. And it's probably going to be shortly after the Z06. So if the Z06 actually does drop in September at some point, we would start hearing about this E-Ray probably late 2022, early 2023, with probably a summer release of 2023 for the E-Ray. Now, typically the E-Ray is the spot holder for the Grand Sport, but Chevy has filed a bunch of trademarks basically showing that the E-Ray was going to replace the Grand Sport, which is why I think the Zora will then replace the ZR1 for the C8 Corvette generation. LT4 Powered says, I apologize if I missed it, but was there Z06 pricing ever released? No, but LT4 Powered, I made a video talking about why I feel that the price of that car is going to be right around $90,000 before options. You can check it out on the channel if you want, but I also have two different people pretty high up in GM confirming that I'm right on the price. So we're looking at right around $90,000 before options. Yeah, Wheeler O'Haro says, I remember hearing a mule car pull out, and in a wild type video, there was no single sound out of the car pulling with the side exit exhaust, but I don't recall it showing the Z06 front grille. So that is what I'm showing here, which is weird. That's why I don't want to necessarily say for sure that that's an E-Ray, but what's inside of that car could be anything. Just because it looks like a Z06 from the outside doesn't mean that it actually is. On the inside, it could have all the setup of the E-Ray. Even though on the outside it is showing the Z06 front grille, it looks more like a Z06 with even the side intakes look more like a Z06. Now, there on the Motor One website, it takes it a step further, and we see a little bit more of what is supposedly the hybrid E-Ray. And this is fully exposed, meaning there's no camo on this car. Now, again, we're looking at a car that looks exactly like the Z06. So just because it looks that way doesn't mean that it is. Now, in this case, even on the rear of where the spoiler would go, you can see where the high wing spoiler for the Z06 with the Z07 package would go. So this car, body-wise, is a Z06. Inside there, it is possible that it has the E-Ray inner workings. But at the end of the day, guys, this thing has been basically spotted, completely unwrapped, doing some testing out in the wild, so to speak. And again, this did not make any noise. So if it's not making any noise and it's driving around even in a Z06 body, odds are good it is an E-Ray. Luke says, will there be a new attempt at a Z06/Z07 sub 7-minute time this summer? I don't think they have time at this point. They just recently pulled back out of the Nürburgring area. If I had to guess, they have their data. They have the times that they need. They just haven't communicated them yet. Yeah, it really is. Wheeler O'Hara says, it's been a long wait since October 26th reveal. I really don't fully understand what it is that they're waiting for at this point. The hype is definitely real. I don't know that they can push the hype much further than it already has gone. I think we're ready for some numbers from GM, but I don't know. They're definitely taking their time. Justin, any guess on what the Z06 gas guzzler tax will be, if any? This is where the problem comes in, because GM wants to move towards electric vehicles for this exact reason. If I had to guess, I don't think we're going to get a gas guzzler tax. I don't know, man. That's hard to say for sure. I don't even want to say that just yet, because I would need to know a couple things about this car first. If we get one, it's probably not going to be as extreme as it was with like my ZR1, we'll say, because this car is very likely to be at least a little bit more fuel efficient. Luke Walsh says, I'm thinking there might be an E-Ray mule since they used benchmarked using an NSX last summer. Yeah, so I believe that that's the case as well. I know that there's an E-Ray out there. I just don't know if this is them. If it is, then we're looking at the E-Ray. And if it follows suit with the Grand Sport, which is what the E-Ray is replacing, then that means that the E-Ray will have the body of the Z06, just without the engine of the Z06. So it is possible this is exactly what the E-Ray is going to look like. LT4 says, no doubt about Justin's info on the starting price, but why wait? Increased hype equals increased MSRP, question mark. It's possible. If I had to guess, Chevy is still putting together some information to try to help with inflation. They're going to want to charge the appropriate price for this car, and they probably haven't really figured out where that's at yet. Shane says, maybe they're debating what to do with the unethical dealership allocations. I really hope so, Shane. I really hope so, but it doesn't seem like they're really going to do a lot about that. And that's unfortunate, but that's the way it looks. Future Sean says, honestly, they probably had their time the first time they went. They knew it had to be sub 7. Anything above that wouldn't be acceptable to GM with the cars they're directly going after. I agree, Future Sean, and the only reason I can think that they wouldn't have given us that information yet is, and I hope I'm wrong about this, but it is because it's not sub 7 minute. I hope I'm wrong, but that's all that really makes sense to me. GM definitely wants to beat Porsche. They're consistently benchmarking their cars against Porsches and Ferraris because they want you to be able to buy a Porsche or a Ferrari basically at a much lower price than either one of those two manufacturers provide their cars. LT4 Powered says it's in their favor no matter what. It's not like people are going to pull out over a few grand, they're already sold out. Jixer Rider says, remember when someone called him out on saying the dealers won't mark it up? I've written docs showing 55K markup. It was definitely not me. I know the dealers have been marking up these cars since at least the C7. I've personally experienced that. So every Corvette from here on is going to be marked up whenever the availability is this hard to get. GM didn't run a Nürburgring full lap. I'm not sure if they did or not. Wheeler O'Hara says, honestly, I think it's a 6:58 on lap time. I would be okay with 6:58. Anything under 7 is going to be pretty good. Vet Addict says GM is going to blow the world away with a sub 7-minute Nürburgring car, sub 90K. I agree. I think we're looking at an $89,995 car that will probably do the Nürburgring in under 7 minutes. Luke Walsh says, I'm sure they have accumulated Z06 Nürburgring segment times. Yep. Comparing past Corvette segment times with top lap times for the same car provides a very accurate estimate. Yes. So, Luke, that is the segment time is exactly what Jim Marrow got with the C7 Corvette ZR1, and he was under 7 minutes. I believe it was 7 minutes and 56 seconds. And that was a segmented time that was also on cold tires. So the ZR1 is a pretty beastly car. If the ZR1 can do it, I really feel like the new Z06 can do it as well. Kerry Glock says, are you going to have a vehicle that gets more than 10 miles per gallon? It kind of feels like no at this point, unless I start driving a Tesla or something. The miles per gallon in my car seems to be going rapidly downhill. What's up, Eric Tate? Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate everybody tuning in, guys. If you could, smash that thumbs up button. Let me know you're liking the content so this can get out to as many other Corvette enthusiasts as possible. It will help the channel, and it will help grow this community. So every Monday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time, there are more and more Corvette guys here to chat about this great car. William A. says, is Click Lewis marking yours up? No, they're not. So Click Lewis sells their cars at MSRP. If you guys want to get a car at MSRP, you would want to talk to my man Mike Matarazzo, or really any of the salesmen there. Just tell them Horsepower Obsessed sent you. They will get you on a list. The Z06 is going to be tough to get, so don't think you're going to be getting it anytime soon. But when you do get it, it will be at MSRP. If you want to get a C8 Corvette from them, same thing. MSRP. They do not mark up their cars. Steve says, what's your thoughts on getting a Z06 with a Z07 without the high wing mustache? Z07 with the wicker bill style spoiler. I don't think you're going to be able to get the Z07 without the high wing. You could always remove it and install something else if you want the Z07 package otherwise. Philip says, as long as the Z06 beats the GT3 at the ring, I can die in peace. If the Z06 beats the GT3, we have a heck of a car. So, yeah, I can't complain if that's the case. Mark, I still say 650 for the Nürburgring. That would be awesome. 6 minutes, 50 seconds would be really fast. LT4 Power says you'll get it at MSRP in 2030. E-Ray 0 to 60 in 2 seconds. That's probably a hair ambitious. I do believe it will be a little bit faster to 60 than the Z06, so probably 2.4. C7 ZR1 is a sub 6 minute 50 second car with German drivers. The ZR1 is the most underrated car in automotive history. I 100% agree with that. Jim Marrow, who was the guy who drove the car on the Nürburgring, would agree with that as well. I want my Z06 to be a track car. Do you think it's worth getting the higher trim levels? Is it basically just seats that get better for performance? I figure Z07, front axle lift, and done. If you want just a track car, yeah, the Z07 1LZ is probably going to be your car. If you want the best of both worlds, you get the Z07 3LZ with all the creature comforts, and then you are ready to go. Chevy better keep a V8 engine in the Corvette. That's what people want because not everybody wants an EV car. I 100% agree with that, Eric. I hope that is the case, and I hope I'm wrong about the Zora model. I do suspect that the Zora is going to be full electric. That is not confirmed in any way, shape, or form. That's just my personal opinion. But if that's the case, it is what it is, I guess. Better hang on to your V8s. William A says, what number on Click Lewis list are you? I'm very high up on the list. So I don't want to say exactly what number, but just know it is very, very high. Wheeler O'Hara says, axle lift will pretty much force you to 2LZ at least, I think. Yeah, you're right. You would need a 2LZ if you want to have that front end lift. Jixer, I don't even want to say that. That is a funny comment. I'm not going to read it, but guys, check out Jixer Rider's comment. That's pretty funny. Future Sean says, there's so many great dealers out there still selling MSRP. We just hear about the few bad ones, so our perception of dealers has changed. I would say the vast majority of dealers are good dealers. That is a really good way to look at it, Future Sean. You're definitely a glass half full kind of guy. I appreciate that approach, and you are definitely right. The couple bad apples always ruins it for everybody. But there are definitely the dealerships out there not doing those things, and that overshadows the ones doing the good stuff. All right, guys, so I think we're about to start wrapping this up. If you have any more questions, I would love to hear them. Anything about the C8 Z06, anything about the new visualizer for the base C8 Corvette. I want to try to keep these live videos right around an hour long. Like I said, it's going to be every Monday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You guys come in here, bring your Corvette questions, and sit back and hear some news. What else you guys got for me? You're white. You're very welcome, Great White North Corvette. Thank you guys for thank you for tuning in, yeah, guys. Yeah, nothing about the silent mode. All right, guys. I think we are going to wrap this up. Like I said, we have about an hour each day or each week, I should say. So next time, guys, like I said, next Monday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Bring your questions. Bring anything you want. Smash that thumbs up button for me one last time, guys. I appreciate all of your support. I appreciate everything. You guys have been great. We're building a community, and that is fantastic. It's going to be a community full of Corvette enthusiasts. And like I said, you can't go wrong with those kind of people. There is no update on the Nürburgring time yet. It should be coming here very soon, though, guys. And no, LT4 powered, I'm leaving the rain here, man. All right, guys, I appreciate all of you tuning in. One last time, please smash that thumbs up button. Let me know you're liking the content so we can get more people to join this community so that next Monday we have another 100 people on here, guys. Let's make it happen. Smash that thumbs up button. I will catch you guys in the next video, which is going to be Monday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time.